Shaun Bunn. I'm the Managing Director of Empire Metals, and we're here to talk about the Pitfield giant titanium deposit.
Pitfield giant titanium deposit sounds good, doesn't it? Giant anything sounds good. Sounds like it might be worth something.
I believe so. I mean, we don't use the word giant, as we said in previous discussions. It's an adjective that we use because that defines the sort of scale of this mineralized system. It's it's a world-class, globally significant mineral system that is incredibly enriched in ilmenite and titanium-type minerals.
Right, because we talked in the past, about where the company's come from, what type of company it was, and it was a certain size for a long time. You've seen some appreciation recently. People are beginning to get a sense that you might be onto something here. So, what do you know now? And then let's get into what do you do next. So, what do we know today?
Yeah, so we've defined this thing as a sort of a big hydrothermal event that's come into a sedimentary basin. So there's some reasons I raise those points. So this is a unique outlier in the titanium world. There are no sedimentary-hosted massive titanium deposits that have, the resources have been reported. They're usually igneous rock systems that Rio, for instance, in Quebec, are mining, Telnus in Norway, or big mineral sands beach deposits that, the minerals started as igneous rocks, but, got crushed down. So what we have discovered, if you like, is a sort of an outlier. It's so large, it's such a big system, so fully impregnated with these sort of minerals, that we don't, it's pointless trying to compare this project to another titanium project.
Right.
We sit amongst supergiants, in fact. We sit amongst a category of, like the Carlin Gold Basin, or you're looking at, something like Olympic Dam. You're looking at such a big system that it could be full of all sorts of valuable minerals.
Right. And I think certain minerals get a lot better hearing than others in the marketplace. They're better understood. Copper, which you were originally chasing when we spoke last year, better understood than titanium. So how do you get a sense of which minerals you're honing in on, focusing in on, if you've kind of got this kind of choice, as it were?
Well, the copper's come through, so I'll just comment briefly on copper without trying to mix too many into the, it's not a box of licorice all sorts that you can just go in and pick what you want. We found titanium. We found titanium, over a 30-kilometre strike length. We found it now 400 metres below surface, every metre full of titanium minerals. So that's the focus. We know from our studies, our inspection of the drilling, the core, the analysis, that the copper has come through somewhere. It's come in late. Okay. Probably followed more the fissures and fractures within the basin. But we're going to park that up. We're going to go look for that at another day. Focus on the titanium minerals. Focus on how we bring that into a development scenario, if you like. How do we look to commercialise that discovery? Right. That's our focus. And I think what is really exciting here is that this is a sweep of minerals. It's not just a single titanium mineral that we're identifying. And all of these minerals that you see around the world that are being produced, there is a processing step for them. These are, this is not, whilst the geology is unique, the processing side and the downstream and getting a production scenario together, this industry's been around for, 50, 100 years. It's not a new... We're not sort of discovering or creating new technology, so to speak.
No, but you're also much earlier stage than that right now. So you have said, right, here's a big mineralized system. We're going to hone in on the titanium. There are other byproducts, we'll call them, some which we'll chase later and some which are incorporated in this with this titanium mineralization that you're seeing. I think if I'm looking at your company and the history of your company, I'm looking for some motor in there, okay? Because you guys are good explorers, you're good at kind of finding stuff, but it's about finding stuff that's economic, right? So what do you do? How does the company change? What does the company need to do now to kind of show the potential of this thing to be developable?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, the first thing, and we've personally worked in the industry, the titanium business before, so I got a sort of sense of what, who the players are, what the products are that are most valuable, most sought after. And I think it's, relative to point out, that people are talking lithium and they're talking about all these other battery metals. The lithium market at the moment is about $8 billion, per annum, value. Titanium industry is $26 billion already and growing at a rate of about 6%. So we're in a much more mature industry, and we've got opportunities, therefore, I think, to develop a commercial industry. There's plenty of options for people to partner up.
Yeah.
But I don't see us as being a seller. I don't imagine the situation where we get there and go, oh, we're an explorer. We find the world's greatest titanium deposit, and we flip it.
We've done the hard bit now. Give it away. Okay, but coming back to, it's like, do you have the skill sets in house? Do you have the team in house to kind of move away from just being pure early stage greenfield exploration guys and gals to saying, right, I know how we're going to take this asset forward. What do we do? I'm just interested in, I want to hear from you. What are the things that you're going to do? Is there more drilling? Is there some metallurgy that you want to get into early? I mean,
there's a process. There's a very clear and we're still exploring this in the sense of, okay, we've made a discovery. 21 holes, every hole hit titanium. 3 diamond holes now, proven to depth. Yeah. I'm currently drilling my next RC program. Yeah. I've got 2 rigs up there running at the moment. That is still stretching, if you like. We're stepping out and seeking within this 30-kilometre strike length. Where would we seek to find better grades of mineralisation? And what's hosting the higher grades? Is there a particular area within the structure? Or is there different rock structures? Is it in the sandstones, the siltstones, the conglomerates? So we're working on still exploring, but not looking to make, necessarily another discovery.
Right.
That then translates to, we identify better grade mineralisation. We start to analyse the minerals. We do some metallurgical investigations. That's all underway in one way or another. The diamond core is fabulous for creating, metallurgical core that we can test. And we're going to back this up with another 40 holes in the first quarter. So we've got another 6,000 metres to drill. Yeah. Where we drill those holes, though, will be dictated by the current program. So we'll have 12,000 metres of drilling by end of first quarter. Okay. Some of that will be dense enough, I hope, to pinpoint an initial resource target. If not, we'll have to come in and do some further infill.
Right. Have you got the money for that drill program?
We've got the money in the bank for everything up till the end of this year. We had that previously. We took a chance and raised some money in the market in September. £3 million. We were offered 4. We knocked back. We didn't want all of that. So I think at the end of September we had £3.8 million we announced in hand. Look, that extra money we raised wasn't to complete this program, so that money is available for us to continue, launching. But
it sounds like to me, if you've got money till the end of the year and you've some money in the bank, you've got to cover G&A, etc., you'll need to raise money for the next drill program.
The next 2 are fully funded and post that. So what I'm getting at,
okay.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is that the diamond drilling and this RC program were already funded before we went into the market in September. Okay. The idea of raising money was to mean that we could do that first quarter backup program, right, and then another program to do the infill if we need to.
Okay.
Metallurgical test work, mineralogy, all of that funded right through for this next phase.
So tell me a little about the kind of resource drawing, because different CEOs have a different approach to this. Some are nervous about putting a resource together too quickly because it kind of defines them. It kind of sets a flag on the ground and go, this is the size of our project. and others don't worry about it because I think we'll just continue updating as we go forward. So how are you thinking
we're
about
completely the opposite end of that scale. We're so big. When you think about it, we're so big that people can't imagine the number. Okay. And even putting an expiration target on it just will underestimate it completely. Right. So what we have to do, I think, in some respects, is change that thing and say, no, we need to narrow down our scope.
Bit of focus.
Focus on where the grades...
It's big enough. Right. So I understand that, but
billions of tons.
It's the same problem, but at the other end of the scale, which is like, okay, we can't be talking about district wide potential because we'll just go drilling forever and ever and never putting it together. But at the same time, we've got to be able to put a resource together on, I don't know, 5%, 10% of your land package and say, this is big enough because to fund the development of this, fund the build of this is a big number, and we've still got all of this stuff going on. So, but the only reason I'm questioning this is because you guys have come from early stage exploration through to now development, and I want to get a sense of how you think as management in a development context rather than that's pure exploration context. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Decision making is important,
but it is a cycle. You know, it's almost a circular process of okay, we're now moving towards identifying, as I said, grade. So grade, talking scale is great, but we've established scale. People can see that this is going. It's more than big.
So,
you know, this is a
high grade in the sense. Go for the higher grade stuff first.
Yep.
But then we're looking forward to the market. Get some numbers on that, please.
Absolutely. And to do that, I mean, the market end of it. So there are several critical things that we need to establish. You know, what sort of products do we want to make? You know, we do, and we've reported in some of our earlier releases that we've got some ilmenite within the mix. It's not all ilmenite. Do we want to be do we want to make an ilmenite concentrate and sell that to, as an intermediate producer and be locked in as a price taker? Whereby, what sort of influence is the biggest producer in the planet? You know, we'll almost, we'll flood the market. All we're doing is just lowering the ilmenite price. Now, why do I want to go down that path? I've got to look for alternatives where I can upscale, look to make titanium oxide, higher grade titanium oxide products. Plenty of options there that we can look at. But then I'm starting to be the price setter. And, I'm selling something for over $2,000 a tonne, not $300. So I'm sort of changing our whole, basis, if you like, of our business model by having that vision. Right. I don't want to lock us in on any particular process route. I don't want to lock us in at this stage on any particular, end customer type approach. I have so much optionality on this. The further we can get down the path and say, we're flexible. What we have is massive scale, great location, right in the middle of a major infrastructure hub. Access to rail, port, power, water, gas. So no major infrastructure capital required. We can get this thing built and operating, subject to the processing flow sheets that are available. And as I said, the technology is not new. Yeah. We can take the technology that others are applying already in the industry and apply it to this unique set of minerals with confidence.
Right. So look, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm sure you don't want to get ahead of yourself too, but having a business plan and a vision and a strategy for delivering it is important. Many companies come in here and they don't even think about that, think about just drilling. So can we come back to where we are today? So you know where you want to go, which is good.
Have to have a vision.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. But they also have the ability to deliver it. So there's a few things needed to deliver visions, and one of those is money along the way. And there's a point certainly with this. It's not that technical, but it's kind of an interesting commodity. When do you bring strategic partners in? How do you fund this in terms of the type of money that you bring in? And it can be through, say head or herself, for forward selling some of this stuff, bring strategic partners who are money, strategic partners like some of the Chinese who would take a lot of this off of your hands, I'm sure. So how do you go from where you are today in terms of funding all these baby steps that you're going to deliver over the next, say, couple of years? What's your plan for that? Is it just go back in the market?
No, the intention is not to constantly tap our shareholder base. I think that's the first thing we can say, but sometimes you don't have a lot of, particularly in these early phases of exploration moving into development, you don't have a lot of choice.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much of the farm away, so to speak. So I don't want to go and do offtake agreements where I sell all the company's upside. So somewhere in there's a twisting, winding pathway that we've got to navigate. So I agree. Do I have the answers for you today? No, I'll be honest about that. But we only made this discovery back in May. We only just got the diamond drill results. In fact, we only got assays for one of the holes and released that on Monday. I'm highly confident in what we'll see in the other two holes, but and they'll come out in the next couple of weeks. But this story is really just starting to unfold.
Yeah.
I believe right now that the majors or the big boys in the industry are looking at this. They're probably starting to hear about it, I would assume. This is sort of like the unicorn or the dragon story. Everyone's heard of it and people dream about them, but they don't think they're real. This is very real, but the big boys, I don't think yet have woken up to the fact that, this is such a large-scale, high-grade system. They're going to get really worried sooner or later whether or not somebody else gets it.
Right. And that's I know it's a recent thing, and that's why I keep dragging you back to the today. Visual is important, but where we are today and how you move through the phases, right? Because you took up drilling, great, maybe some infill drilling, and focus on a kind of higher grade core or target, which you then put the resource on, then which you put the economics on, and hopefully the market, buys what you're saying, and we're going to drive that stock price up, and you can raise cheaper and cheaper capital. But at some point, obviously, when you look at alternative types of financing, because you don't want to tamping up the shareholders.
Exactly.
Right? But see, I want to get focused on this today. As far as you're concerned, the message is we've got something big. We know what we want. What we want to do. We are the next 6 months drilling.
Developing.
Tell you, developing means a lot of things to a lot of people. So, precisely for you, it means what?
So, I want to get control. Well, this is a great example. I'd like to have control of the narrative. I'd like to be able to articulate to our shareholder base and the market.
Perfect place to do it. Let's try it.
I would like to, and I'm not there yet. And I'm honest about that. We are learning as we go about the minerals. We are learning as we go about the potential, we're going to develop this processing option. Right. We have absolutely no doubt about scale. We are now getting more confident about high grade within the system because we can see it, we're sampling it. We've got 20, we're picking up rock chip samples at surface near one of the drill holes, 10 to 20% TiO2. I mean, that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
So all the things are sort of falling into place as we build our knowledge up. But that last hurdle, how do I go forward after this phase? Mm-hmm. I need to get this next set of drill results.
So what are you drilling? Let's talk about this. There's always a good one. What are you drilling for? What is the purpose of the drill plan that you've got? What do you want to get out of it? You haven't got it yet, but you've got to be aiming for something. So what is it?
The critical things in this now will become things like simple, technical issues like mineral assemblage. What are the main dominating minerals? Well, you've got mixtures. So in here you've got titanium minerals. There's ilmenite, rutiles, leucoxenes, titanium hematite mixture, which is, and that's in itself is unusual, but that's because of the unusual way this thing is formed. Mm-hmm. Now, any one of those could be commercialized, but as a combined package, which ones are the most profitable? And are there areas within this big system that this particular mineral is dominant? Because if I identify grade, and then I can identify minerals that I can extract more readily and cheaply, my pathway to an economic a high value outcome is much clearer to me, and that's why I'm hesitating and not. Look, no, I'm not sort of hedging my bet, so to speak, but I just don't know enough yet. And I've explained that to the market. I think I've kept that in every conversation I've had out there in the forefront. We're learning. We know the industry. We understand a lot about it. We just don't yet know enough about this giant, this super giant that we've discovered. But we're getting there really quickly. This next phase of drilling, metallurgical testing, all of that will come through in the next couple of, hopefully by end of quarter one, we'll be in a much better position.
So let's look at the bit of a narrative that you hopefully can talk to, which is, there's been, given the nature of what you did, it was exploration, and I think you wasn't quite quick to kind of kill projects too, or waste too much money, is the transition from many false dawns, because that's the nature of what you were doing, into a different type of company. Can you say that, is that what you partially want to communicate to the market? This is now a different type of company that you're investing into or are invested into.
We have to grow. So I can say this quite clearly, I think, that we were, and something that I thought we were quite proud of, was it was so lean, very little in terms of overheads, very little in terms of, it's not a lifestyle company. So we as a company don't match, if you like, a giant mineral system and a giant discovery like this. We need to grow the company as we grow our understanding of what we have. We need to develop the skill sets that enable me to deliver on these promises.
Yeah.
I know people within the industry, within the ilmenite titanium industry. I actually known some of them for over 40 years, and I've already started to secure technical expertise that I can bring to bear on this. But that's only half the story. This is a globally significant, discovery. We need to be out there in the world. We need to be talking to people around the, in Europe. We need to be talking to people in North America. We need to be talking to people, obviously in London, which we do. But we need to spread this joy. I don't have the bandwidth to get on a plane every 3 months and attend, and talk to people. So I've got to address that issue. I'm much happier being, I drive up to the site and watch the drill rigs running. I want to, that's where I get my sense of how I add most value. But we need to tell the story. We need to attract the finance that you're talking about. That doesn't necessarily mean, going around and doing a broker roadshow here in London. Let's get some big cornerstone investors in at a premium. That's the first step, I think, in terms of maybe that's what you've tweezed out of me, but I think that's the first step for us to take on the journey, is significant cornerstone type investment, which allows us and gives us the runway to launch.
That's exactly where I was going, because I think, without being too rude, it's like, because of the nature of what you guys said before, yes, you ran a lean house, yes, you were very honest, and yes, you kind of killed things quickly if you thought it was never going to be economic. But therefore, without success, now you've made, for your words, in tier one discovery, different team will be, additions to team will be needed, new thinking will be needed, and the ability to develop will be needed. And the shareholders will want to see that you're still being a good arbiter of how to spend cash frugally and wisely and accretively in terms of value creation. So that's why I say it's a new company. Look at us in a different way to what you did before. That's all I guess I can get from you today.
I believe so. Without being able to articulate, as I said, exactly how that will all unfold, it will come. It will come quickly.
Yeah. We'll see you more regularly. You can tell us all about it.
We'll see you more regularly. And as I said, look, this is, sometimes you just got to sit back and take a breath, which we haven't had the luxury of doing since we discovered this, because we are literally running at full pace, trying to say, well, how big is this, and what does it mean to the industry? But I think we believe in it. We can see that this thing is such a scale that it can't help but shake the whole industry to its foundations. We map a pathway to commercial production.
Let's see what that looks like.
It's all good.
Sean, it's all good.
Thank you.
See you soon. I'll see you sooner, hopefully, as well, because as these drill results kind of come through and kind of get through a bit more data, it'll be interesting to see what you've got.
Yeah, I hope to get back with a better narrative.